The drama around Maxx Crosby and the Baltimore Ravens has turned into one of the most talked about stories of the NFL offseason. What initially looked like a blockbuster trade between the Ravens and the Las Vegas Raiders suddenly collapsed, and the fallout has sparked debate across the league about how NFL business is really handled behind the scenes. For a brief moment, it seemed like Crosby was headed to Baltimore in a massive deal that would have made him one of the highest-paid defensive players in football. Reports suggested the Ravens were willing to give up multiple first-round draft picks and commit around $30 million per year to land the star pass rusher. But just when everything appeared to be on track, the entire deal fell apart during the final stages of the process. According to reports, the key issue centered around Crosby's knee injury, specifically a meniscus procedure he underwent. There is a major difference between a meniscus trim, which typically allows athletes to return relatively quickly, and a meniscus repair, which often requires a much longer recovery period. Crosby's camp believed the injury situation looked positive, but the Ravens' medical staff reportedly had more concerns about the long-term risk before committing to such a massive investment. From Baltimore's perspective, paying elite money while also sending valuable draft picks for a player with medical uncertainty may have simply been too big of a gamble. But the situation quickly became even more controversial because of what happened next. Just hours after backing away from the Crosby trade, the Ravens pivoted and agreed to sign veteran pass rusher Trey Hendrickson. Hendrickson, widely considered one of the top edge rushers available in free agency, essentially filled the role Baltimore had planned for Crosby, and at a lower cost. That timing immediately fueled speculation around the league. Some analysts and fans began wondering whether the Ravens had second thoughts about the price they were paying for Crosby and used the medical evaluation as a way to escape the deal. Others believe the situation was simply a case of a team being cautious about a major injury risk. Regardless of which version is closer to the truth, the perception around the league may already be damaged. The ripple effects from the failed trade were massive. Teams across the NFL had already begun adjusting their plans under the assumption that Crosby was leaving Las Vegas. The Raiders had reportedly started making roster and financial moves believing they would be clearing Crosby's salary from their books. Meanwhile, other teams that were also interested in acquiring Crosby had moved in different directions after Baltimore appeared to win the race for him. Because the NFL operates with an extremely tight free agency timeline, situations like this can create chaos. The so-called legal tampering period allows teams and agents to negotiate before deals become official, but nothing is finalized until the league year officially begins. That means agreements can still collapse at the last minute, and when they do, the consequences can affect multiple teams around the league. This situation also raises bigger questions about how the NFL conducts its offseason business. Teams are expected to make enormous financial decisions involving hundreds of millions of dollars while also evaluating players who have endured years of physical punishment. Medical opinions can vary from team to team, and in a high-pressure environment where deals must be completed quickly, disagreements or uncertainty can derail even the biggest transactions. Now the Ravens, led by general manager Eric DeCosta, could face some long-term reputation concerns around the league. When a high-profile agreement falls apart so late in the process, it can make other teams and agents more cautious when negotiating future deals. Whether the Ravens were simply protecting themselves from injury risk or strategically changing course, the situation has created a cloud of skepticism that may follow the organization for a while. At the same time, the Raiders are left dealing with the aftermath of a trade that nearly happened but ultimately didn't. Crosby remains one of the league's most dominant defensive players, and the entire episode has only increased attention on his future and the direction of the Raiders franchise. In the end, the Crosby saga highlights just how unpredictable the NFL offseason can be. Deals that look certain can unravel in minutes, teams can pivot instantly to new targets, and the entire league can feel the shockwaves. Whether this situation becomes a turning point for how teams handle negotiations during the free agency window remains to be seen, but one thing is clear: the Maxx Crosby trade drama is a story NFL fans won't forget anytime soon. If you enjoy staying updated on the biggest NFL news, trades, and behind-the-scenes drama, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest breaking stories from around the league.